Continuing section 8.3, we're going to talk about finding volumes of solids of revolution. There are two methods for this. One is called the disk method, one's called the washer method. I'm going to try to go through with you how you know when to use each one and how exactly to use them. Okay? Now, I actually don't want to start on this page. I want to start back here. So the disk method basically says that if I rotate a function around an axis, that the cross sections, because I'm rotating in a circular motion, the cross sections will be circles with radii spanning from the function to the axis of revolution. So to use the disk method, if I'm integrating with respect to x, in other words, if I'm going up and down, okay, if I have vertical cross sections perpendicular to the x-axis, then since the area of a circle is pi r squared, I'm just integrating the area of a circle, pi r squared, from the lowest x value to the higher x value. If my cross sections are going to be perpendicular to the y-axis, I'm going to integrate with respect to y, so pi r squared, where the radius is now a function of y, and I'm going from the lower to the higher y value. Using a washer method now, a washer is nothing more than a circle with a hole in the middle, okay? So if you can picture, you've got a washer. Oh boy, that is not good. Okay, so if we got a washer, we know that to find the area of this, well, I first have to find the area of the big circle. So let's say the big circle has a radius of big R, and let's say the little circle has a radius of little r. Well, in this area of the washer, which doesn't include the hole in the middle, would be the area of the big circle minus the area of the little circle. And if I factor pi out of that, it's just pi times the big R squared minus little r squared. So that's what you see for the washer method. Pi is out front. If we're perpendicular to the x-axis, big R and little r are functions of x and they're squared going from A to B. If we're perpendicular to the y-axis with our cross sections, then we put the big R and little r in terms of y. Okay, so let's put this into action and see what this looks like. So the first problem says find the volume of a solid formed by revolving the region bounded by the functions y equals 5x and y equals 0 on the interval from 1 to 9 about the x-axis. So I drew a picture of it. We have a graph y equals 5 over x, which would actually have a curve down in the third quadrant and then a curve in the first. But we're only interested in the region between 1 and 9. So because of that, we're only concerned with this first quadrant, okay? And this would go forever this way and forever that way. But again, I only drew it from 1 to 9. Y equals 0 is the x-axis, so this region right that we're talking about is right here. Okay, now if I rotate this about the x-axis, so picture if I would take this and rotate it about the x-axis, what you're going to see is, and rotate the whole thing, not just that big end, you're going to end up with a solid that looks kind of like, I don't know, the bell of a trumpet or some kind of cone or something like that. There's a better picture of it over here. This is what it would look like. Here's a graph of y equals 5x. Not a whole lot of cross sections here though. Let me put, there's only 5 cross sections here. Let me put more of them in if I can. This is dangerous. Yeah, it's not reacting again. But anyway, this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 perpendicular cross sections. They're really thick. If we put more cross sections, you would see that there would definitely be more things. So yeah, again, it's acting really slowly. I could choose more if it would let me, but it doesn't appear to be. I'm having the worst luck with this stuff. I don't know what the heck the problem is. Maybe it's me. Not enough clean living. Okay, well, heck with it. It won't go. It won't go. Maybe my other app will work better today. Not real confident of that, but you never know. Oh, danger. Let's try 500 of them. Come on. Come on. Well, maybe I'll come back later and I'll have a picture of it. But anyway, hopefully you can kind of tell what it looks like from my picture. So what I want to do is I want to set up an integral to calculate the volume. So let's see here. Now you'll notice that the radius of these, let me just take a cross section, which will be a circle in the middle. We know the radius of the circle will go from the function down to the axis of rotation. That is the radius of our circle. Now what is that radius? Well, just like we did with cross sections, we take the upper limit minus the lower limit. So in this case, 5 over x minus 0 is the radius, or in other words, just 5 over x. So the disk method says volume, and I'm going to put a little d here for disk method, is the volume of this disk is pi r squared, or the area of the disk is pi r squared. So pi times the integral from, all these cross sections will range from 1 over to 9. The region goes from 1 to 9. R squared. So since r is 5 over x, and that whole thing is squared, make sure you put it in parentheses, times, now each one of these little cross sections has a wee little thickness, so that's where the dx comes from. So just like we did with cross sections, area of the cross section times its thickness, and that should give you the volume of that figure. Let me go back. Let me just see if it, yeah. Why would that happen? Why would that work out for me? Nope, it didn't. Okay, I ain't planning to spend any more time on it, so done. All right, let's go to the next method. Now, what about washers? What do washers look like? Well, find the volume of a solid formed by revolving the region bounded above by square root of x, so I've drawn the square root of x, and x squared below by y equals x squared. Now y equals x squared would be a whole parabola here, but since they cross here, I only drew this part. But we know that this parabola would continue coming down this way. This green graph would just, keep coming. But they cross at 0, 0, and then they cross again at 1, 1. Okay, so now, this time, if I rotate this about the x-axis, check this out. So if I rotate this about the x-axis, I'm going to kind of get this rotating this way and that rotating that way. It's going to look a little funky. Now, let's say I take a cross section kind of in the middle. So the far end of the cross section makes a circle like that, but the near end makes one like this, and look what you get there. There's a washer. See that washer in there? There's a big hole in the middle of this graph. This solid isn't the whole thing. Now this one, I'll cross my fingers, let's see what that would kind of look like if we did this. So, oh shoot, I didn't have to do that. But, oh gosh, I wish I would not have done that. Oh good, it's here. Okay, so now let me make sure my marker's off because that'll screw things up, and it is. Okay, you see that cross section can move back and forth. Hey, where have we seen this show before? Kind of moves back and forth across the figure. So way on the left end, it can be in the middle here. It can be anywhere in there, and it just, you notice it's there. Now let's see if I can rotate that little cross section. Gosh, I just can't. This time I tried it before and it worked. It just, I don't know why it's not working for me now. This is all a big failure. Hopefully it'll work in class. Maybe it's something with the video. It's still moving the figure along. If I rotate this cross section along, though, it's a good visual. It makes it easy to see the washer as it rotates around the axis. Come on, guys. Give me some love here. Not coming. Perhaps it will. So let me go back to my, oh, it came up at the end there, didn't it? Okay, so there's how that washer looks if we rotate it around. If I revolve the entire region around, you'll kind of get a look at what the solid looks like. This one I'll probably have to come back for, but that's only rotating one cross-section around. What if I rotated everyone around? Then we would kind of be able to see that entire region. So we'll come back when that decides it wants to draw a graph. However, here's what I have to figure out. I have to figure out the big radius and the small radius. So the big radius goes from the axis of rotation all the way to the furthest end of the big circle. The little radius will go from the center to the end of the little circle. So you've got big R right there, and you've got little r right there. So big R, how big is that? Well, it goes from this pink graph, square root of x, all the way down to 0. So big R is square root of x minus 0. Little r goes from the green graph, which is x squared, minus 0. So x squared minus 0 is just x squared. So if I want to find this volume, I have to use the washer method because the cross sections are washers. They are perpendicular. You notice these radii are perpendicular to the x-axis. So I'm integrating with respect to x. And then the area function is pi times big R squared minus little r squared, which you could then simplify to this would just be x minus x to the fourth. That would be fine. From where now? Look at this region here. It goes from 0 over to an x value of 1, and that would be a region. Okay, let's go back one more time and see if we can see it just for fun. Yeah, there it is. So that's how it looks when you rotate the whole thing. You notice it's kind of got an empty, hollow part in the middle. Okay, and they actually tell you the volume of this ends up being 3 pi over 10. So if you wanted to try to evaluate that integral, you should get about 0.942, which is 3 pi over 10. It kind of gave us the answer there. So 3 pi over 10, I think I said 0.942 is going to be the volume if we try that, okay? All right, let's see if we can do a couple more examples real quick before I run out of time. Find the volume of the solid form by revolving the given region about the x-axis. So we've got y equals x squared, y equals 0, between 0 and 2. Now, these graphs won't normally be given for you. You have to draw a sketch of x squared, a sketch of y equals 0, and then between 0 and 2 is going to cut it off right there. So I'm going to rotate this around like that. So my circle, and just take any cross section at all, my cross section will have this radius, x squared minus 0. So the radius is x squared. I'm perpendicular to the x-axis. So volume, I can use disks here. Whenever there's no gap between the enclosed region and the axis, you can use disks. So volume using disks is pi times the integral from 0 to 2 of radius squared. So x squared squared, or x to the fourth, with respect to x. Let's try to set up another one. What if I take the region and bounded by the parabola y equals 4 minus x squared, so that's a parabola down with vertex at 4, y equals 2 minus x, a line with a slope of -1 crossing at 2. And I want to go around the x-axis again, the direction said. Okay, around the x-axis. So you notice there's a gap here between the region and the axis of revolution. When there's a gap, we have to use washers. Now, if I rotate this around the x-axis, that means my cross sections are going to be perpendicular to the x-axis. So I'm going to integrate with respect to x. We always start with pi. Now, since it's washers, I need the big radius and the little radius. So big radius is the radius of the big circle, which goes from 4x minus x squared to 0. So big R is 4 minus x squared. Little r is going to go from here to the closed part of the circle. So there's little r right there, from 2 minus x minus 0. So little r is 2 minus x. So I'm going from -1 to 2. And it's a good idea, by the way, to take your graphing calculator and plug these functions in. And that way you can just go, like if I put this in for y1 and y2, I can go y1 squared minus y2 squared. Because on your calculator, it oftentimes isn't